All right, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to, I got a new name here, Pod to Profit. This is just a show where this is going to be a once a month show where we're going to be exploring the finances. We're going to be doing a deep dive into, all the finances of running a podcast business and building a podcast business and trying to get to that $1 million mark for podcasting. So super excited, super fun for that. I'm hearing a little bit of echo. Hopefully the sound is good for you guys. Do let me know if you have any issues. Everything seems to be okay on my end, but I don't know. Anyway, hopefully everything's okay. It's been a while since I've been doing my daily podcasting. All right. I want to start real quick. If you are new here, hello, welcome. Appreciate you joining. My name is Odum, and I have a podcast called Unconventional Mindset, where I have basically interesting conversations with people that I find that are interesting, that are fascinating people that can kind of teach us how to live a better life. And I'm going to do something real quick here. I'm just going to share my screen, and I just have a few quick slides here just to help me, I guess, go through what I want to say today. The overall why of everything it is that I do. And my real goal fundamentally is to inspire people to become the best version of themselves. You know, together we can make the world a better place. I know it sounds a little bit cheesy or whatever, but I firmly believe that in order for us to be able to live a good life and to have a good world, basically, is from within, that we all have to do our part in order to be the best person that we can be, and then we can kind of grow from there, right? So that's truly kind of what I believe, and that's what I want to do. I want to help people, help myself, and then, you know, hopefully inspire other people to take on that charge as well. So that being said, let's go. Moving that into an actual goal. What are we wanting to achieve? And we want to grow Unconventional Mindset, which again is our podcast, into the #1 podcast in Canada. That's goal number one. There's other goals, of course. Becoming #1 in the world obviously would be amazing. And what we do on this podcast, as it's written here, we just explore the minds and experiences of other people that I find that are interesting, remarkable people. Not necessarily they have to be super celebrities or super famous or anything like that. Just people that have lived something of a really great experience that they can teach us in order how we can implement that into our lives and become a successful and live a more enjoyable life. And whatever that success means to you. Some people, like me, want to make $1 million a year. Other people are perfectly content with $50,000 a year, or whatever the case may be. Whatever success looks like for you, we want to be able to get the tools to be able to go ahead and achieve that. So we want to build this $1 million podcast business, right? So I broke it down basically into 3 stages that I think make sense for me and what it is that I'm trying to do here. So stage 1 is the sustainability phase, and that's going from basically $0 to $60,000 monthly recurring revenue. And you'll see that in a minute when we go looking at the spreadsheets and the numbers, that is basically the bare minimum that I need to make as a business in order to make it sustainable, where we can just do it indefinitely. If we're making $6,000 a month, we're good to go indefinitely, right? And then I have stage 2, the experimentation phase. That's where we can kind of, okay, we've got something that's working at least enough to be a sustainable business. How could we ramp this up further in order to get more traction and more growth? And I figure that phase will be between $6,000 and $25,000 in revenue coming in every month. And then we have the breakthrough, the growth phase or whatever that, you know, we get into a really good trajectory. We get into a good rhythm in terms of how we onboard clients, all that kind of stuff. We just put them through the workflow, the pipeline, everything is working beautifully. And then that stage is getting that $25,000 to $100,000 a month, which will get us to that $1 million a year in revenue. And of course, then there's a whole bunch of other things that come after that. But hey, we'll worry about getting there first, and then we'll see what we can do once we're past that $1 million. But those are the 3 kind of stages that I see us going through this trajectory of growth over the next couple years as we try to work to make this happen. In 2 years, 3 years, I don't want to put a timeline on it right now, but as soon as possible. I think 2 years is actually maybe a good timeline. But anyways, okay, so let's talk about the products. What is it exactly that I'm selling? So really what I have right now is kind of one product, which is a podcast studio. Obviously, I do my own podcast in the studio and might as well rent it out to make some extra income to people that want to do their own podcast and maybe help them out as well too. So Kevin, how's it going? My comments are still not working. Anyway, I don't even want to get into that because I was looking into that before I started, and it was just like, okay, I can't even deal with this right now. But Kevin, great to see you. Always a pleasure. Are you a baseball fan? Anyways, Toronto Blue Jays up on the Yankees, 2-0. happy about that. But anyways, and of course hockey's starting, so don't even get me started on that one. All right. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes. So I have basically one product, and that is to rent out the studio, and that's at $150 an hour. And then I have rental packages as well, where you could purchase a block of hours, where it's 12 hours, 24 hours, or 36 hours, and there's a little bit of discounts there. Actually, let me just put this. I have this here as well too. So let's just take a quick look at this. So this is the website here, Pixel, and if you go into the pricing, there's, again, you can just purchase a 1 day of studio right here for $150 an hour, or you can buy specific packages here. And I think this is just connected to Stripe, and it just gets you to a Stripe checkout or what have you. So super simple for the client. And once I get this, I get a text message and email saying that a client has purchased this. And then I set up something through cal.com where I make them a specific calendar, like, Pixel / whatever the customer's name is. And then they can use that to book all their hours, and then of course I'll be tracking how many times they can book and all that kind of stuff. It actually is written down, like you program that into the calendar, which is pretty cool. Anyways, so yeah, so those are the packages, and that's it. And there's one thing that I'm thinking of. I don't know how this is going to work, and I don't know how well or how much I'm going to want to dive into this, because it's all going to depend on how successful the podcast is going to go. But I have like bespoke podcast services. So if you're just somebody that wants to build a podcast, you're a big company that you have a lot of money, and you know that you want to use a podcast in order to, as a CEO, they want to be an expert, a thought leader in their field, or they just want to get awareness over whatever it is they're doing, or they want to make some extra revenue, whatever the case may be, or they just want to make content, whatever it is. I have this form here, and of course they could just click here to book a call to right away. And then I kind of have this budget thing here of at least $10,000. And that would be like a bare minimum kind of thing of what I'd be looking for to working with this type of client. So it's not going to be the client that's like, hey, I just started a business, I want to have a podcast, and they have like no money. It's like, forget all that. I am so I don't want to say this in a bad way, but I can't work with, it's almost people like me, in the sense that small business owners or people that are just starting out, they have no money. And everything is nickel and diming, and I can't stand that. And then when they're nickel and diming, they're like hanging over you. So I can't stand that. And so that's why I have the podcast studio, where it's like, hey, you just want to rent out the studio, come rent it out, do your thing. Happy to help you out, coach you in any way that I possibly can. But when you're ready to take that podcast to the next level, then we'll talk, right? So that's kind of the idea behind that. So getting back to this, so that's the bespoke services starting at 10 to 25K. So there's already a few feelers out there for businesses that want to do this kind of stuff, that understand the value. So we're going to see how that's going to unfold over the next few months here. And this is a really big thing here I have at the bottom, of talking about my podcast itself. So unconventional mindset. That is like the main asset. That is the thing that I want to do, that I want to grow on. Like having a studio is great because I can make some extra revenue. But at the end of the day, what I really want to do is I want to be a podcaster, and I want to build a significant podcast that generates, I'm like millions of views per episode, right? Like I want to be at that level. So that's going to be a significant asset. How that's going to be monetized, I don't know right now. I don't have any plans. And am I ever going to, I say here, if I ever want to, like I'm sure at some point it's going to make sense to try to monetize it, but I have no idea what that's going to look like. Is it going to be ads in the videos? Is it going to be ads or sponsors, just sponsors in general? I have no idea. There's a million different ways we can go with it, but right now let's just grow the damn podcast, and then we'll worry about how we're going to make money from it. Because once you have the attention and you have a good product that people are going to enjoy, which is of course the audience listening to it, then we'll go from there. And speaking of which too, if you ever happen to see my podcast and you've listened to it, I would appreciate a 5-star Spotify or Apple review. Always helps. Leo, how's it going? Welcome. And I think that is it for just kind of what I want to say today. So let's go into the money, because that's kind of like the thing that we're going to be tracking here quite a bit over the next, like basically every month anyways. We'll look over the numbers, and we're going to look over, it's going to be like legit real numbers here, guys. So anyway, some of the stuff is summarized. They're not broken down, but if you want to see things broken down like line by line, let me know, and there might be a way of doing that. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Leo, I'm back. Hey, I'm back as well too. This is my second podcast since I started last week. So it's been a while. So excited to get back on the horse, whatever it is, get back in in the digital world. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, super excited. Good to see you. Good to be back, and welcome. Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? If you want to have any like specific details of like the finances, like the full like P&L or balance sheet or anything like that, let me know and we can see what we can do. Cause I have numbers here, but I don't want to put like every single thing line by line. But anyways, you'll see what I mean here when we get to the expenses. So, all right. So products. So here's the thing that, of course, that we have so far is we have the hourly rate, $150 an hour, and studio packages. And these are the packages here that we're going to sell. So that's going to help us do some sales forecasting into how many of these things we think we're going to be able to sell on a month-to-month basis. And if we look at expenses, here they are. And this is what I was talking about if you want to see things broken down like line by line. But these, and you know, every month is going to be different because some of the software I pay monthly, some I pay like an annual subscription or what have you, which is, this is the thing, subscriptions. I hate subscriptions. Like I spend I'm like $553.87 on average for software, guys. That is insane amount of money. And that's after I've cut out like the Adobe suites and some other stuff. I can't even remember what else I cut out, but it's still like insanely expensive for software. Most of that, I will be honest, is probably Webflow, dealing with clients and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But anyways, so these are the business expenses. We have software, we have utilities at just under $200 a month. That's basically phone and internet. Salary and administration services. So people that are actually working in the company, that's how much money it costs. That's how much money it costs to pay myself so that I can have, you know, food, you know, those, you know, those things that staff kind of want to eat or have, right? Like food and water and shelter and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And then miscellaneous expenses. This is, I just have here for things that I know that I end up buying on a month-to-month basis where I need to pick up some gear or whatever the case may be. I just budget $750 for that amount of money that I might need to spend. So again, every month is going to be different, and that's just what it is. So that means $5,251.57. That's at a minimum what I need to make in order to basically break even. And that's what I said before in my presentation here is sustainability, getting to that. It's getting $6,000 a month coming in on the regular that we actually know is going to be coming in every single month. So that's what we want to get to that point, which is going to be a little bit difficult because when you're booking the studios, people book one at a time. So you never know how many people are going to be coming in through the door. So we're going to have to see how we can work with those kind of projections. Okay. So next, let's go. Is this too small? Maybe, I don't know if I can make this maybe a little bit bigger. Okay. So right now, income. So this is income that I know is going to be coming in every month on a month-to-month basis. And that's just contracts from the clients that I have. So that's like the guaranteed money that I know is going to be coming in. And if other stuff does come in here, this is where we're going to put it into this income spot right over here. So right now, $2,700 a month is what is basically what I make guaranteed every month. So of course I get stuff coming in all the time, the, you know, contracts here and there or whatever. So which is why, because if you look at my expenses, which has been pretty much consistent since I started this in 2022, why I've been able to keep afloat, because obviously that's not enough, obviously. So that being said, let's go. Yeah. So we're at income, and let's go to sales forecast. So we're going to work on this a little bit today. And I'd really love to hear your input on what you think is, accurate sales forecasting, because this is where it gets really difficult. And this is where, as a business owner, you can put in numbers and then just ramp up the hockey stick, right? Oh, I'm going to get 10 customers the first month, and then I'm going to get 20, and then I'm going to get 25. And then, you know, and then you see the numbers and they look really good, right? But we're going to see if we can be conservative, and we can see if it's going to make sense for what we think we can do. And I just have it for the 1 year. So basically October to September. And then we're going to look at cash flow, and it's the same kind of thing here. And so again, here, real numbers here, guys. Here's the business bank. This is how much the business has in the bank. And, you know, so we have the income and the revenue coming in here. And then we have the expenses, which is just from the other sheet previously. And again, we'll update this. We'll probably do something where maybe we'll expand on this and maybe update it on a month-to-month basis. I don't know. Again, let me know how much detail you guys want to have in these, because again, we're going to go over these every single month. I do this anyways internally, so I might as well do it here for everyone to see, because that's the whole point of this live stream, is figuring out how we can build a business that's going to make us a shit ton of money, right? So that's what we're looking for. So, and then of course, by sharing this, I'm hopeful some people can come and be like, hey, yeah, that's wrong, or that's right, or whatever. Anyways, so these are the numbers here. And again, the only thing that's put in right now is the website consulting, and that's coming in right there. And then studio rental, studio packages, and podcast services. So actually, one thing I need to do here, there's something I need to do to get this price here. Oh, right. That's with the cash flow. I think no, this is easy. I think I need to go here. Hang on a second. Oh, you found me on Twitter. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. I don't think I've even tweeted. No, I think I made a couple tweets, but I haven't been on Twitter. I've actually been focusing on LinkedIn, and it's actually been really, really good for getting. So I only made like 2 posts so far on LinkedIn, but I'm commenting on other people's posts, which are actually driving like a lot of traffic to my profile and to my website, which is actually really, really cool. So LinkedIn seems like a pretty good place because there's professionals there and they're trying to learn about business and all that kind of stuff. So it seems like a pretty good place. But anyways, I do need to get on Twitter as well too, but one social media platform at a time. Okay, what do I want to do here? So we're just going to go here real quick. Studio rental is going to equal, that's going to come in. Let's do studio rental here. I think it's going to be the sales forecast. No, it's going to be this one right here. We're going to enter that, and this is going to be, sorry, we're just going to do this one thing here, guys, and then that'll be that. And this is just, we don't have any formulas for this because we're going to assume that we're not going to get anything from that just quite yet. All right. Okay, so this is kind of cool in the comments. It shows, I guess, whoever comments the most, they get like a little top fans kind of thing. That's kind of cool. I got to get my comments things working again. Ugh, what a pain. What a pain in the butt. You think it would be easy enough to get comments to show up, but streaming. Okay, so here's where, again, so here's what I'm talking about where we can play with the numbers, right? So say I get, 10 hours. Whoops, that's not even a number. 10 hours of studio rental, you can see that, okay, that's going to make me $1,500. And if we go into the cash flow, then that's going to go here into the cash flow. And then we're going to see kind of how things are going to change. So this is where I'm saying we can really play around with the numbers. But I think we could do is start slow and then work our way up from there. One of the things that I'm doing is in November, I'm going to be hosting a workshop. Let me see if I can bring this in, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well too. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. So hang on, I'm bringing up a form here. I only have one response so far, but that's okay. I can't really show that because that's someone's. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, I think I can show this. All right. So I have a type form here, which I've just put it out on LinkedIn, but I'm also going to put it out to my network here soon, just send them through emails. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hosting an in-person podcasting workshop where I'm going to teach them basically whatever it is that they want to know about podcasting. So we'll have it like a half day or a full day. I don't know. It all depends on how many people are going to sign up and how many people want to join in this workshop. And I just put out a form there for them to express their interest. And I just basically asked them, do you have a podcast now, or do you want to start a podcast? And what is it that you're interested in learning? And they could select as many answers as they want. And that the answers are like how to record and edit a podcast. They want to know what equipment to buy, how to get people to watch and listen, getting guests to come on, building your own studio, how to be a better host, whatever the case may be. So those are the options. And then the idea is, of course, people are going to select the things that they want to learn. And then based on that, I'm going to put together a little workshop curriculum or what have you, and have people come in for this free workshop. And then whether maybe one or two could win a package at the end of the day, which could be like a one free studio session, or they all get a free studio session, whatever. So the idea is, of course, if I can get 10 people to go on a workshop and then they join the workshop and then they start their podcast and they do their first episode with me, then maybe I can get a 20% conversion, 10%, whatever the case may be, that will continue to want to use my studio to be able to build their podcast, right? So that's another way that I'm thinking that I can start to generate more consistent revenue for the actual podcast studio. So anyways, I'd love to know what you think about that, if it's a good idea or a bad idea or whatever you think. But anyways, yeah, that's what I'm doing for that. So that's cool. All right. So that being said, studio rentals. So I'm going to start this thing super, super conservatively and then go from there. So basically, every podcast rental, I think you can rent, you have to book it for at least an hour and a half. So that's 225 Canadian for one rental. So I'm going to assume this is really low because I know already for this month, I've already have 3 people coming in. Like somebody was here this morning doing one, someone's coming tomorrow, and someone's coming on Sunday, and I think someone else is coming the week after. Anyways, so there's already people coming, but I'm going to play this super conservatively, and then we'll go from there. So studio rental hours, I'm going to start saying this month, I'm just going to get 3 hours, which is basically 2 podcasts coming in. And yeah, again, I might be too conservative here. I really don't know. But I'm just going to assume in November, we'll do the same thing. We're only going to be able to get 2 people to come in, which is 1 every 2 weeks, which is kind of really low, but we're going to be conservative here. In December, January. So how busy is it going to be in those months? That's a little bit tricky to say because that's the holidays. Sam, how's it going? Welcome to see you. I know it's been a while. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you here. We're just going over our cash flow here for our podcasting business and seeing, how we can get ourselves closer to that $1 million number, which is what we're working towards. Okay, so I'm going to be conservative here again and say that this time I can get 1 person to come into the studio every single week, which is 6 hours. So that's 6 podcast hours. So that's $900 in revenue. And we'll do that for December, January. And then let's just say for the next months, we can pick it up quite a bit more. Well, what's quite a bit more? What's a good number? Yeah, it's good to be back on YouTube. I missed this actually. It was just so much fun, but things were so busy in a good way because I had a lot of business stuff going on and stuff to really figure out my workflow with clients and all that kind of stuff, especially with the podcast studio, to make it as seamless as possible. And even just a little thing of transferring video files to the clients and making that work smoothly, which is still something I'm working out. But I mean, every client comes in and it's like 200 gigs worth of data to transfer. That's a lot. So, but anyways, really good, really busy, but glad to be back here doing this at a minimum once a week for sure. And we'll see where we can go from there. Because things are also really busy because I have 3 people scheduled to do a podcast this month with 2 more that are just figuring out when is a good time for them to book their podcast. So very, very busy, which is really, really good. So I'm really, really pumped about that. So yeah, all things podcasting. Okay. So where are we? Right. February. So what's a good number here, guys? So we're talking about December, January having, what did I say? 4 people, 4 bookings, studio bookings. I think we could do better than that. Like, we don't want to keep saying that we're going to double every month because that's insane. Because there's only so many bookings that we can do per day. And I think the cap would be, what would be the max? I think the max would be 3 per day times 7 days a week, because the studio's open 7 days a week, times 4 weeks. So we can do 84. This is max. 84 bookings per month, which is also equal. That's how many hours. So that's different. So 126 hours. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that. So, but we got to make sure that these numbers here, we're not going to put in like 126 hours, that's 20 grand coming in a month. That's not going to happen. So we want to be realistic here. I mean, let's just say in February, December, January, and February, we really start to pick up and we're getting 2 clients coming in per week that's 2 clients coming in per week, which is 2 clients per week. Oh, I'm just going to math this out here. 2 per week times, that's 1.5, and then times 4, right? So that's 12 hours. Okay, I'm just doubling the numbers here. See, this is where I get a little bit, it gets a little bit interesting, where I'm just like, am I just doubling the numbers? And that's 6 months in. And so what is this one again? This is 2 per week. Do I want to go 3 per week? In 2 months time, then I could get 3 per week. So that's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that's like basically 3 per week. See, that could be 3 clients who are doing a weekly podcast. It's tough to say. Well, let's go. I don't know. Maybe let's try that and see what the numbers look like. 3 times 1.5 times 4 per week. So that's 18. So basically I'm just upping by 6. So then this would be 24. Excuse me, 24. And then this is 1 a day. Basically 1 person coming into the studio per day. Just at 1 hour. Times 5 times 4, 30. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And that's not selling any packages or anything like that. This is just the base, somebody selling this. I would imagine we could sell some of these packages, but let's, if we can convert these people that are coming in once, just once, that we could say, hey, listen, if you're going to have an 8-season episode or 8 episode season or whatever it is, we can sell them these packages, which will just be cheaper in the long run. Okay, so let's go to our cash flow here and let's see what that has done to our cash flow. Okay, so that's done really well for our cash flow because we don't have any negative numbers, which is good. Sorry, can I minimize this a little bit? All right. So if we do this again, this is how much money we have in the bank today. And, even just that little 450, it just helps a little bit. So then at the end of the year, we're still going to be short. At least we're going to lose money from what we've done or what we have right now. But we'll be at this. So, I mean, it's pretty low, to be honest. That's quite low. But this gets us to this $6,000 a month of what we were saying. If I can get to that within 1 year, again, if we go back to this, if we can get to this stage 1 in the next 6 to 8 months, then we can focus on getting into stage 2 and really ramping it up within like a year and a half. That would be really cool because there's so many things that are missing here in this cash flow projection is, we haven't sold any studio packages. We haven't done any podcasting services. And there's even things now, like I even have contracts right now that are not even included in this for different work that I'm doing for consulting. Like it's not even in here. So it's not even captured yet. So because it's not part of this is kind of the direction we're going. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. What do you guys think? Does this make sense? Is this, at least for this year, in terms of getting this many people, like, is that, like, I feel like that's pretty, I guess it's tough to know because what is the audience size of what's the market size? Like how many people, like how do you determine what the market size is of how many people are going to want to film a podcast that are within like my region, right? I guess I could argue or could be argued that, well, no, I'm in the Halifax, Nova Scotia region. So yeah, nobody's coming from further away to come here. I'm thinking of other places that are further away that don't have a podcast studio. I don't think people are going to be driving 2 hours to do a podcast. I don't think that makes much sense, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I think that might be the limiting factor in how well this studio can do in the long run in a town that is not, doesn't have millions of people. I don't know what the population is, like a couple 100,000, 300,000. I don't think it's very big. But I mean, enough to do business, like even these small numbers, I think is relatively doable. I think this is doable completely, actually. And then again, this bespoke podcast service, I think we can do something here to make some really good money as well. So we're just gonna have to see how that's going to look like. And that's going to be the main thing here. Like, this is going to be the main thing of what I'm going to want to do. And again, this is not even talking about, it's not even talking about my actual podcast, right? This podcast, The Unconventional Mindset, this is where the money is going to happen. And that's not even included in any of my forecasting as well, too. I guess what I want to do with this forecasting is to just make sure that I could sustain myself over the next 12 years. I don't lose any of this money because this is all we have left. So I don't lose this, and I'm not going to be able to continue doing this. Because if I just said, forget everything that I'm doing right now and just focused on doing the podcasting and trying to grow the podcast on its own, I'm going to run out of money, right? So I'd run out of money super fast. You throw these as zeros, and then this 10,000 goes to 8, 4, 3, and it's done, right? So yeah. Anyways, curious to hear what you guys think. Kev, Leo, Sam, let me know what you think. If this is making sense, or if I'm just being completely, I don't know, unrealistic, or I'm being too conservative, or I don't know, but this is the thing with these things. Cause say I'm like, okay, starting in January, I'm going to sell, one of these a month. You could just throw in one here, throw in ones here. And then, I'm going to start selling one here, one here. I'll sell one in February, sell one in May, and sell one here, and then maybe another one here. And then you go into your cash flow. Then all of a sudden, we got $42,000 in the bank, right? It looks good, right? But is that realistic? Can you actually make those sales and all that kind of stuff, right? So I want to be as realistic as possible. Leo, in your thumbnail, try to put a crazy take or make the thumbnail text a 3-word description of what is said. Try to put a crazy take or make your thumbnail text a 3-word description. In order to make it more, Mr. Beastie, more eye-catching. Yeah, I don't think I'm a very good thumbnail designer, to be 100% honest. So basically what I'm hearing is I need help, and I need work in my thumbnails. So I'll see what I can do, because I just kind of whipped up something here real quick. But anyways, I'll see what I can do. But I appreciate that feedback. I know I'm not the greatest thumbnail designer for sure, and I don't want to use AI to just generate some AI thumbnail as well either. So we'll have to think of something. A crazy take. What would be a crazy take? I don't even know, because I'm being super conservative here. Unless I throw in a bunch of numbers here. And then boom, all of a sudden, here we are making $1 million within, 18 months. Your thumbnails are great. The text is just not very intriguing. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Maybe once we actually start, because this is the first one, there's no concrete numbers, but maybe next Monday, I think, okay, first of all, I should probably say this financial recap or whatever, we're going to do this on the first Monday of every month for the live stream. So that's when these ones are going to come out. And then the other ones we'll do, I don't know what we'll do. I'm still trying to think about that, of what the live stream would be. Again, could be just whatever, something to do with what we're doing for working in order to build this business. Obviously, I'm just not sure exactly what that's going to look like. And if you guys have any idea of what you want to see, behind the scenes or whatever, let me know. Whatever the workflow is, editing workflows, whatever. I don't know. There's lots of different things. Again, going out and getting the podcast guests, doing all that kind of outreach stuff, whatever it is, just let me know. Yeah. I think I definitely want to sell these packages. So I'm going to you know, I think it's good to be conservative, but I also want to make sure that I push myself to see if I can make some sales. And whether that means I have to do some cold outreach or whatever it is to businesses and do more of it and just get that volume, right? It's all about volume. So let's just say come January, let's start selling some of these packages. Let's just say, yeah. What's a good number? Is selling one a month a good thing? I mean, if you're a salesman and you're selling a product, I mean, $1,600, it's not like it's a crazy amount of money. Is it reasonable for me to, not assume, but to go for selling one of these packages per month? I mean, that's like saying there's one client. I mean, there's so many people starting podcasts or wanting to start podcasts nowadays. So I need to do a better job of marketing about the benefits of podcasting. And like, can we get like 8 people in a year to buy this? I don't think that that's too much to ask. Is it, guys? I'm going to say no. But let me know if it's too much. I don't know. I really don't know. So let's say we'll start in February and we're going to start selling one a month. And then maybe April's my birthday month. So we're going to do something pretty awesome. And we're going to sell a 24-hour studio package. And then May, June, we're going to go to 1. And then maybe in July. Now, let's just say we'll get lucky. In September, that's when we'll sell our first 36-hour package. There we go. If we put that in, what does that change our cash flow? So that changes it pretty significantly. So obviously selling those packages are very, very nice. So, and I think doing the workshops and getting people wanting to commit to doing like an 8-episode season as opposed to like, let me just podcast once and get it over with. If we can help them, push them towards that, maybe that'll be beneficial. Brent, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I certainly think this isn't a bad thing to project the next months, but I would spend more time figuring out a plan on acquiring customers than almost guessing on the amount. Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is just, it's guessing. Put the problems you are solving with this interview as a thumbnail text. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm solving any problems or creating more for myself at this stage of the game. But Brent, at least that's what I did when I started out being self-employed full-time, and it seemed to work. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be like, okay, and that's what I was kind of saying here is like, if I say I'm going to start selling one of these packages per month, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do that. So like, I just put it in there and say, okay, this is what we want to get. How the hell am I going to go do that? And then reverse engineer how the hell I'm going to get there. And it's going to start by this workshop. So that's going to be the first thing. And I want to see, number one, just see what the response is like to people that are interested in starting a podcast. And then we can go from there. So that's going to be really, actually, we'll do this. I'm going to send this out tomorrow morning to people and really, really promote this. And next week we'll get back together and we'll see like how many people are actually interested in learning how to podcast. And then we can kind of go from there. That'll be kind of a good starting point, I think. But yeah, Brent makes a perfectly good point about just figure out. It's like, yeah, stop guessing. Like I hate guessing because we could just put in any numbers. But anyways, assuming those numbers, we put them in, we go look at our cash flow. And then, yeah, we start doing pretty well starting in February. So I guess maybe one thing that could be a good takeaway is that if all things go well starting in February, we can really start to see some income really starting to be generated through this podcasting, through Pixel, if we can get the good marketing and all that kind of stuff going through. And I think what we're really going to need to do as well too is, well, not need to do, but through the podcast itself, you know, it's like, hopefully we can grow both, right? So as Unconventional Mindset is growing, which is a Pixel Media production, that's going to get more awareness of the studio and get more awareness to people wanting to start podcasts as well too, right? Or know that they can work with me because they see how well I'm doing with the podcast. Like, I'm just hoping that it's going to be so connected that people are going to see the success of the podcast and be like, well, I want to work with this person because they're successful, and people want to work with people that are successful. And then it just snowballs, right? So we got to get to that snowball point. And I think in my mind, just by doing this quick little exercise here, which again, we'll fill out with real numbers as we go on. Then maybe we can take a screenshot of this, and then in 12 months, we can look back at what our projections were and then see where we're off and on. Then that'll help us, I think, in the next year's projections when we want to get to that $1 million. But anyways, but what I'm thinking is that in January, February, March, that's when that snowball for us hopefully can happen. But we're going to need to make sure we put in enough work to make sure that we can get there, right? So, because this would be nice. If I had $25K in the bank at the end, this is, of course, after the expenses, after I'm actually paying myself a salary and all that kind of stuff. That would be fantastic. But then in here, there's going to be the money that I'm going to need to hire out a third person. So anyways, we'll get to that. Okay. Leo, the most successful, Brent. Sorry, I got to get these comments going. We'll get them working one of these days. Hope everything has been going well for you, man. Yeah, long time no see. Yeah, I was here last week. But as I was saying, it's just been really, really busy, but in a good way, because I was doing just busy podcasting and getting the whole podcast studio up to shape in terms of making it super easy for clients to come in, having clients come in as well too. And there was a Social East event that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually the guest podcast host for that. So there was 2 days of speakers, but I did 2 days of interviews of each of the speakers. Not each of them. I did a couple dozen or so, or no, a dozen or so interviews, and I was just podcasting there on the event floor. So that was really busy. So there's some prep and stuff going for that, but it was really fun. A lot of getting the reps in of podcasting and interviewing people, talking to people. So yeah, really busy, but a whole lot of fun. Leo, the most successful products solve a problem. People want to solve their problems. If the guy or woman you are talking to talks about solving a problem, put that in thumbnail. Yeah, so 100%, Leo. So what is the problem that I'm solving? Well, obviously the problem that I'm solving long term is how to start a successful podcast. Or you could even say how to start a successful podcast studio. That's actually a good point. I need to think more of it, because I don't know specifically what this podcast, I don't know what this live stream particularly is solving. Because what we're doing is we're really documenting, right? This is a documentation of building a podcast business, right? So yeah, I mean, the problem is I want to start my own podcast. I want to be successful as a podcaster. I could think of individual videos of what the problem is, right? I want to get more people to come on my podcast. Okay, well, that's a simple YouTube video I'll make. It's how to get more people to come on your podcast. Tired of not having anybody coming on your podcast, or tired of people saying no or ghosting you. That writes itself. But the live stream, I'm not sure really where that fits in. Do you know what I mean? I know what you mean, but anyways, that's kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to say here. Brent, yeah, fire, glad to hear. Yeah, no, how are things going with you? Hope everything's going well. Hope life across the pond is going well. Yeah, if the person you are talking to talks about the mindset needed for success, make the thumbnail text the successful mindset or some other similar. Oh, maybe I think are you talking about these thumbnails? Maybe you're talking about these ones. Sorry, I didn't know if you're talking about the thumbnail for this live stream, but for this one. That's a good point though, if that's what you mean, of getting these thumbnails right. Yes, that's what, okay. So, right. I think this thumbnail, maybe this doesn't make any sense too. Always tell the truth, putting people first. Yeah, the podcast thumbnails. So these aren't very enticing to click on then. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? Which is fair. Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely have to put some more thought into it then. If these aren't very good, I mean, they look clean, but yeah, I want to make it so that person looks at it and be like, oh yes, like you said, this is going to solve my problem. So I want to click on it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Yeah. So Brent, going really well on my end, but getting too much work recently. So time to hire. Yeah. Hey, listen, these are good problems to have, right? If you're, let me put these, just take these comments and can I put them? Oh no, my screen's not plugged in. Okay. That's stupid of me. Well, sorry. I go full screen here for a second. But yeah, time to hire. That's not a bad problem to have though, if there's a lot of work. So that's really good. Rolando, welcome. How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. Hope everything's going well. Greetings from the old continent and the motherland. Great to see you guys all here. Leo, put up a problem that is solved after watching it. Yeah. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I definitely got to keep that in mind. Because it's interesting in my philosophy of how, or the approach that I do when I'm preparing for each one of my interviews or each one of my podcasts is I want to learn more about the individual and know what trials and tribulations they have come across into their business, into their experience, running a business and starting a business and trying to get value from there. It's not necessarily a specific thing. But that being said, I'm sure there's specific things that they have said that I can pull out and tease out. And then I could put that in the thumbnail to really get at one of the core nuggets of value that the listener or the viewer is going to get from that episode. So I really like that. So I just have to figure that out. So yeah, that's a really good point. Really good point. Yeah, I should look at Diary of a CEO as inspiration and cite clickbaity sentences they mentioned. Yeah, so Brent, I mean, obviously, like I look at Steven, his stuff all the time. I love I love his stuff. And if you've seen my podcast, you probably can tell that I've been inspired by him. So he does really good work. I mean, he also has a team. I'm just like, he's got a team of people of like 10 or 20 people that are editing and doing all the clips and all that kind of stuff and have all the time to do all that kind of work per episode. But that being said, it's not that I can't, steal a few of the things from him and get some inspiration from it. But I do want to draw the line between this is my ego here getting in the way. I'm sure this is my ego getting in the way. And Rolano's probably going to smack me like a million times. But I'm always like, I don't want to clickbait people into clicking and then not finding value in the content. I want people to watch it because they want to watch it and they want to learn from the guest. That's kind of what I want. But sometimes I guess you have to entice people to click on it in the first place. And that's the whole thing. I had this conversation with Ross as well too. So where's Ross? So right here with Ross here, the king of distribution. He used the same thing too, where I was asking him about this and he's like, you got to give them what the market wants. If the market wants it, then who cares about that? Put everything aside, put all your ego aside, put the things that you want to put out there in the world. It doesn't matter. If you're matching what everyone wants, just laugh all the way to the bank because who cares? So I need to figure that out. So yeah, but yeah, Brent, you're saying, yeah, of course, but you can do a combination of both. The titles on the thumbnail does not say much, to be honest. It doesn't make me want to click and watch. Yeah, so I hear you. I feel like, okay. So maybe I came across this thing too where I was like, oh, well, I want to make it so that I'm only going to use like 3 words, but maybe I need to tweak it so that it's more than that, right? Because 3 words is very difficult to come across. I wonder if you can, you might not, so I don't want to put you on the spot here, Brent, but have you seen any of the episodes or listened to any episodes? And if you have, could you give on that episode, could you give an example of what you think would be a good title to have in or on a thumbnail? Or I'll ask this for Leo, like anybody else here who's watching too, if you can, help a guy out here trying to figure this stuff out. Something that would make you kind of want to click on any of these episodes. So for example, this guy, Nick here. So he has a freelance, well, he was a freelancer and now he has an agency. He has a web design agency where he makes like 250K a year in web design. Does that no problem without breaking a sweat. So I have here the title. And I'm just asking quite like, how did you do it? What do you do? What's your SOPs, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it shouldn't be something like building an agency. Maybe the thumbnail should be from 0 to 250,000, like how to build a successful web design agency. Should it be something like that? Like, don't worry about being too verbal. I guess I don't want to be too verbose, but Um, yeah. So, and Leo saying, tell the truth is kind of an answer instead of something that needs an in-depth explanation. Yeah, that's true. It's like, tell the truth. Thank you. I have the whole plot of the episode, so I don't need to say or watch anything else. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, you guys are really helping me out here, so that's cool. So Brent, yeah, you're saying you watched the first one. I don't really remember what it was. Yeah, that was a great one actually. That one was funny. Because that was with Stephanie. Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, well, you don't have to rewatch or anything like that. I want to force you to do any kind of homework or anything like that. I do recommend if you're definitely into how to making content, definitely watch Ross's thing. This guy, like, he's so good. He was just like, every time he'd answer a question, he'd like know exactly what to say, and it was just like a human like Instagram or TikTok reel. Like everything he would say was like these nuggets of gold. Like every time he would speak, it's just like, oh, just do this, and it was just like, it was just spot on. So it was a fantastic episode. So anyways, well, they're all great episodes. So Leo, when you make a short of the best short parts, take the question that is answered from the clip. Yeah, so I do have a bunch of shorts, and I do have a shorts clip channel that I have scheduled. Every short goes out live every day at 7 a.m. So, and I'm trying to get feedback from that. Maybe we'll go over that as well too next week, where we'll look at all the data of all the shorts that have some do better than others. Some get no views, like literally at 0, which is weird, and some get a couple thousand. So we can maybe go from there and see what's seems to be getting more clicks or more views or whatever it is in on the YouTube shorts, and kind of use that to help guide us maybe to figure out how we can maybe change some of these thumbnails and change these titles. Well, I think the titles are pretty good, but yeah. So Rolando, the last one I saw was King of Distribution. I would have called it Distribution, the Key to Success and $1 Million Sales. Yeah, I like that. I'm writing that down. I'm stealing that. Let me get my notepad out here. Distribution, the key to success. And $1 million sales. The thing I wonder about is when you're looking at, I wonder if I can bring this up here. Let's try to bring up my analytics here for a second. Because I know YouTube always goes on as this curve, right? Oh, see, my face is not in focus. There we go. This mic always goes in focus. Like YouTube videos, they go out in terms of like it shows people, it like starts off and then it just plateaus, right? Where YouTube stops recommending it to other people. But I wonder if by changing the thumbnail and the title, it'll trigger something in YouTube to try to resend it out to people. So I want to have a look at our analytics here, my analytics, and we'll go from there. Hang on a second. Let me just bring it up here. Okay, where's I gotta switch this account here. I can't. Dang it. I don't know if I can shoot. I'm just trying to think, because I have my browser that has all my YouTube channels. I'm on this channel, but I'm wondering if I go on another tab and I switch my YouTube account to a different account, if that's going to kick me off of the stream. If that makes any sense. You guys know what I'm saying? Because then this YouTube, like, I can even just show you. Like this right here, right? Like this is the account right here, but I want to switch to another account. But if I switch to another account, like if I switch accounts, then is it going to kick me off of this account and it's going to kick me off of the live stream? That's kind of what I don't want. Yeah, it will end. Bummer. Okay, let me. There might be a quick. Let me just see. Okay, because I have to go in my Chrome browser. Okay. Sorry, bear with me for a minute, and we'll see if I can do. No, it'll still work. The key is what's being used in OBS. OBS, I don't know. Geez, what does OBS do? Because I set it up, 2 years ago? Then I just hit start streaming and then it's, yeah. Oh, no, it is with the key. I can look at the settings. Let me look at the settings. But yeah, there's obviously something that it takes for sure. So Rolando, read the book Eugenio Garza Sada, Life and Legacy of a Mexican Businessman. I'm going to have to put that on my list of 100,000 books I need to read, but let me write it down. Give a full picture of large-scale business. It's the only story of a family that built... It's the story of the family that built Mexico's industrial powerhouse and one of the most impressive companies in the world. All right. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try switching this over on the browser. I feel like I'll be okay if I just do it on another tab. So we'll switch it. If I do cut out, then I'm going to say, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Please give this video a like. And then, hey, if you would, you can always give a 5-star review to my podcast, which would be amazing. Which is over here. Appreciate the 5-star review. But no, anyways, but yeah, no, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you enjoyed, all this cash flow stuff. And again, I'm going to probably put this up somewhere where people can take a look at these charts or whatever, or these Excel sheets. And if you want to see more in-depth expenses and all that kind of stuff, let me know, because I can certainly work and do something to putting those online somewhere where people could take a look at, follow along, or whatever the case may be. So let me know what you guys want to see from all this kind of stuff, and happy to do whatever it is that I can do. Okay, so one thing here, Rolando. Currently, FEMSA is the largest distributor of the world with a presence in 18 countries. And I guess that's the company of that businessman of that book, Eugenio. All right, here we go. I'm going to open up a new tab. Where do I need to go? I need to go on YouTube. YouTube Studio. Okay, and let's switch. Switch to the podcast. Looks like I'm still here. Looks like we're good. I'm going to... Okay, so it looks good, right, guys? You guys can still see this? Are you guys still here? And you guys can see this, the analytics? You are still live. Perfect. Okay, so it worked. Excellent. All right, so what do we want to see here real quick in these analytics? Oh, excuse me. Okay. Right, I just want to, as an example, look at Ross's episode here. And let's go to this analytics, because I'm really, so here's this curve here. Let's go to the reach. Yeah, so here's kind of what we want to look at, where, it starts showing it to lots of people, and then if it doesn't get clicks or whatever, then it stops. So it's still showing it to people. So we're still getting some impressions, not very much. So, and this is already, it's already 114 days. That's crazy. So, and we can see when we're getting clicks. I haven't gotten clicks in a long time. And views, views are going up. Well, no, 111 hasn't been since 95 days. Right. So, Rolando, all right. Good morning, everyone. See you in the next broadcast. It's bedtime over here. Take care. Have a good night. Thank you for joining. And we'll be back here. We'll be back here next Monday for sure. Absolutely. Right. So Leo, Brent. Yeah. So I'll change. We'll do a test. We'll change the thumbnail, and maybe change the description, and we'll see if we can get better click-through rates, because 0.8% click-through rate, I think that's pretty low. So yeah, I think we want to do a little bit better than that. So yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of the curve that I wanted to talk about in terms of people clicking. So if I go back, so this video here has the most views. So let's go take a quick look at this one. And so this one was watched for 128 hours, which is quite a bit. And it has a higher click-through rate. And yeah, so the impressions kind of started dying out like 21 days ago. So we're still getting some impressions, but not very much. So this is kind of what a lot of people talk about. I don't know, it's the curve of death or whatever, but some people get it where that it kind of keeps going, where it's always kind of being fed. I don't know if that's because it's more like evergreen content or whatever, but I think that's probably getting a good mix of your title and thumbnail and getting a better click-through rate. And if we can get a better click-through rate, then that's probably going to help each video still have legs after it's like after I release it, right? Because that would be good to just consistently always be getting views. And I think that's what's really going to help the podcast grow, is that I'm consistently getting views. Because I do feel like, yeah, for this podcast, I feel like the numbers are pretty low. I mean, I guess it just came out recently, but compared to everything else, I'd like it to have more views than what it has now, because 36 is not very much. I mean, I guess I only have 32 subs on this channel, so I guess it's more views than subs, which is always a good thing. But yeah, so we'll definitely do a deep dive into the analytics here. But we do have one dislike here. Of all the videos and all the likes and dislikes, some guy had the audacity to dislike one of my videos. I tell you, if I knew who's disliking my videos, giving things a thumbs down, oh boy, look out. Could you imagine if YouTube did that? Where, again, why is it focus on my face? Could you imagine if YouTube would just let you know who's like disliking your videos? And you could like find them and like, hey, I know you disliked my video. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but there was a thing too where somebody said something mean about them on the internet, and they're like, that's it, we got to find out those guys, where they are or whatever. And then they go on this thing of finding out everyone, and then like they knock on the kid's doors like a 12-year-old kid. Did you say this? And then they just go beat the crap out of him. So anyways, with that being said, that's about it for today before we start rambling off about movies. So guys, thank you as always for tuning in to the live stream. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, the support, the likes and the comments and the engagements. It's just awesome. So I really miss talking to you guys. So happy to be back. And of course, as always, Sam, yeah, just show up at their door, gangster movie. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's just too funny. It's just too funny. All right. So the moral of this story here, guys, is don't dislike any of my videos, because you might get a knock at the door. And I don't think I'm very intimidating though, so I don't know. You might not. Maybe we'll just sit down and have a beer together. Maybe it all just cool down. I'll find out deep down, why did you really dislike my videos? And maybe it was something that was a reflection of you, you know. Anyways, guys, that's all I got. So thanks again for joining. Really appreciate it, every one of you guys. And as always, I'll be back here again next Monday for a brand new stream. Until then, take care. Have a good night. And we'll see you then.